Hey everyone, Mike Moole here. Today, this REI affiliate is going to share with you some more deals. This is part 2 of the REI Labor Day sale. You should know that the best deals are currently for REI members. So if you're not an REI member, I suggest you get on it. It's just a one-time fee of $30 and lasts you a whole lifetime. Gives you a lot of real benefits that make a lot of sense, including extended satisfaction guarantee of 1 year, as opposed to, I believe, like a month or two if you're a non-member. Anyways, it makes a lot of sense. It's more than paid off, and you can take advantage of the best deals when you are an REI member. So what are you waiting for? All right, links on screen or down below. You should get on it. Know that the best deals are available for REI members only. Okay, so this is part 2. The first part, I had to cut it a little bit early because I ran out of time, and REI does have way more deals than someone could potentially even go through in a short video. But here are some of my favorite ones that I thought about, and I thought I'd share with you right now. I was looking at last year's, and I noticed that the Thule and Yakima stuff I talked about very extensively. Obviously, they're happening again this year. And unfortunately, because of tariffs and increases thanks to Donald Trump, prices have gone up. So even though it's 20%, you save 20% off, prices have gone up overall compared to last year. It's Labor Day sale anyway. But I thought this was pretty cool. This is the Santu cargo box. This works with a bike rack that I have. So I thought this was really cool. This is a new product. But if you don't have that, maybe you're not that interested in it. As far as bikes are concerned, I was surprised to find that the Brompton P-Line Superlight is back on sale at 25%. If you didn't know, sales like this on Bromptons have been relatively rare overall. So I was surprised to see them put this up on sale here at 25% off. So if you're interested in Brompton and Superlight makes sense for you, 25% off makes a lot of sense for you to at least try it out. If you're a member, you have a satisfaction guarantee of about 1 year. They pretty much ask that you return it as good as condition as you can. But I have seen some used bikes that have been returned and clearly have had several hundred miles of use. It is a satisfaction guarantee. The Superlight costs more than the regular because this back piece here is titanium. It's got a 4-speed setup over here. Anyways, at $3,200, very expensive. 25% off, still expensive, something palatable. I personally only could afford the C-Line, and that's this one over here at around $1,900. The color that I got is no longer available here, but there are some pretty interesting new colors. Unfortunately, this is not part of the sale, but if you are an REI member, you already know, you already get $190 back in rewards, which is 10%. Okay, enough about that. I wanted to share about the best-selling items, which I was surprised. I'm not a big runner. I definitely prefer to bike more. But these are some of the things that people have been buying, that are still in stock. So you got Topo Athletic, which I thought was related to Topo Designs, but it's not. Apparently, they make some pretty darn good shoes. 25% off there, plus an additional 20% off with a coupon for one item. And I've mentioned in the past that with this offer, I know it says one item, but I myself have successfully used it multiple times throughout the period of sale. So if you have maybe 2 items that you want, you can order it, use the coupon once, and then come back again later, click the link again, and use it another time. And it's worked for me in the past, and I believe it will work again for you guys all now as well, as long as you are an REI member, of course, because you need to be a member to get the additional 20% off. All right, so Saucony shoes are taking over. Sea to Summit, I've never tried this insulated sleeping pad. It's women's, but that is a pretty big discount at 50%, plus an additional 20% off of that brings it down to just $80. I could see how that could be a very enticing deal. There's only 3 reviews on here right now, but clearly people like it. They also have the one that looks almost the same, but for men. I wonder what the main differences are. I'm sure there's a reason for it. But this is pretty rare. It's got 3.5 stars, maybe a little bit more. And it sure does look very comfortable. The pack's pretty small. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But look at this. This one is only 29% off as opposed to this one. And let me just take a quick look to see why it is a little bit cheaper. Let's see. Maybe it's the dimensions wise. So let's take a look at this. So 66, yeah. Okay, so 66 inches for that. And I think that the regular men's is longer than 66 inches. And that could be very well the main reason why. Yeah. Okay, so 72 inches for the regular wide, and the large is 79 and 78. So if you're not that tall, or if you are backpacking and you don't worry, you're not too worried about your feet hanging out, get the cheaper one. It's $100 only. It looks like it's the same installation, everything. It's just about how tall you are, how much it's going to fit. So looks like the main thing is shoes, guys. Really good, decent deals on the shoes that already start off at 25% off or 30% off, and then you get the additional 20% off. So those are, it looks like that's the highlight of the best deals going on with the REI outlet, or at least that's what the most people are really interested in with the deal. So probably, hey, look into the shoes, look into the Air Pads mattress, and maybe a few of these other items might be worthwhile to you. Now, I know I focus more on the cycling side because I do like to cycle, and there are specifically cycling deals that you can look at. I'll have a link on the screen below to jump directly into this as well. And these are the cycling deals that are are currently on sale at REI. As you can see, there's hundreds of items here, including bike parts and cycling shoes and everything. And I'm going to also link this by the best selling to see what people have been buying that are still in stock. I guess it's no surprise here. Thule racks, Yakima racks are it. I'm a little bit surprised to see the Moterra SL2 electric mountain bike here as one of the top sellers. But hey, if you got the money and you want a light electric bike at 20% off additionally, for what is normally a $7,000 bike, yeah, sure, why not? Why not? The EPOS 2, the back rollers are back on sale. I think the best colors have been sold out, but you can get the black ones because, yeah, you should have got these on the first day of the sale if you want any other color. If not, you could do black. It still has reflective accents on there. That's not too bad. The City 2.2 and the E3.1 are also here as part of the best sellers, and it's because it's 20% off. I feel like at their non 20% off prices they were already somewhat high, but at 20% off seems a lot more reasonable, and thankfully these have not so far been affected by the tariffs right now. Could be because these are incoming from Taiwan, and it's probably the tariffs are not as high in Taiwan as they are for China. I know there's a 90-day hold that prevents the tariffs from going to 103-digit percentage. Right now, you can get these at additional 20% off. I remember the bike helmets are also, some of them are getting at 50% off. If you get any of the Cannondale bike helmets, they are 50% off. And that's a really good deal if you find one that works out well for you. Okay, so these are the deals that are going off, and I see that a lot of them are already 20% off, so you don't really need a coupon for some of these because they are already on sale, 20% to 25% off. Let me know if you have an Ortlieb quick rack. I'm really curious about these. I am setting up for some sort of bike packing situation, and honestly, I am trying out the Old Man Mountain Gear. Because, let me see, Old Man Mountain. Because it's super rugged, really light, very well made. Unfortunately, they are not on any special sale going on right now. So I thought I'd take a look at some other options as well. but these are very well made, and they have fit kits that fit practically every single bike that is available out there. That's what makes them particularly special. Even if you have a bike that is not made for backpacking, not made for bike packing, you don't have any place to mount racks, there are some really expensive options from other third parties that are not available here. But Old Man Mountain has fit kits for you because they merged with the Robert Axel project, or at least one of them bought the other one out because it makes sense. And the Robert Axel project will have the appropriate mount for you that attaches directly to the axle. So you will actually be able to put even more weight on there, and it'd be even more rugged because it's mounted directly through the axle of your bike, as opposed to the rack mount stays, which you may or may not have on your bike. Hopefully that makes any sense. Basically, you can get any rack on your bike with Old Man Mountain. With any Old Man Mountain racks on your bike with the Robert Axel project, plus other third-party stuff as well. All right, the best here is most likely the Cannondale helmets. They were also recently on sale in a previous sale that was 50% off. Apparently that deal's back here as well. Now, I want to mention something that I had just only found out very recently at REI when I was trying out one of their helmets. Turns out I bought one that was not MIPS, and that was not what I wanted. I suggest you pay a little bit extra to get MIPS, M-I-P-S. That basically gives your head more protection against rotational forces that could snap nerves and stuff. Basically, you get less damage should your head collide with something hard and then get twisted because it has MIPS into it. Anyway, I went and I returned a helmet, no problem. And then they told me that they have to destroy all helmets I get returned. And that's just their policy. And it makes sense because they don't know what you've done with the helmet. And if you crack the helmet, helmets are basically, at least bicycle helmets are basically one-time use. You fall, you hit something hard, the helmet protects your head, but it's one-time use because the next time you fall, it might not have that same protection in place. So as a result, they're one-time use, meaning you crack the helmet, and it did its job. Now you got to replace, kind of like a crumple zone. Because when people return used helmets, they don't know, they can't verify, they don't want to take the risk of it, they have to destroy the helmet. So what I'm saying is be extra careful in selecting the helmet that you want, or at least when you return it and you didn't really use it, or you didn't use it, like on the bike, you just checked it for fit, you can return it and let them know that you just tried it out to check it for fit, and this way they don't have to destroy the helmet. But obviously be honest about it, because the next person buying it is going to buy a helmet that you may or may not have used, and that should have been destroyed in case that person did crack the helmet. Okay, enough about that. Just wanted to share something about that with you because I didn't think about it at the time, but that's just the way it is. So a lot of components are actually on sale at 20% to 25% off. And one other thing I often need to highlight about this is that in our neighborhood, I might live in a nice neighborhood, and the neighborhood just next to me is just Cupertino, just like 2 streets over. So I live in Sunnyvale right by the Apple campus. It's a really nice neighborhood, but one of the owner's parents reported that their son's bike got stolen because they used a regular chain lock. And regular chain locks, pretty easy to cut through. Just get a chain lock tool and you clip it off and that's it. Then you lose your bike. And theirs was a custom bike, very fancy bike, more expensive than any bike that I own. It's over $5,000 easily. I don't know all the components on there. Anyways, so the good thing is they reported on Bike Index. The bad news is that doesn't mean they're going to get their bike back. The person who stole it could be taking it for parts because there's some expensive parts on that bike besides the frame. And yeah, they could have all been prevented had they got a nice U-lock. All right, U-locks will make it a little bit harder for people to get through. You can't just cut through most of these higher end ones. But what you really want on a $5,000 bike, and I know you probably shouldn't just be riding your $5,000 bike just to the library. But if you do, because it's your only bike or you really love riding your bike, you're going to need to bring a nice fancy U-lock. And right now it's on sale. The Avis Granite Super Extreme 2500 U-lock. It's big, it's heavy, but your bike's going to be there when you get back out, like from the library. Your several $1,000 bike will most likely be there because they're going to take a look at this. They're going to see the lock is there. And even if they have a grinder with them, which they probably wouldn't at the library because there's a lot of people go to the library, they wouldn't be able to run off with your bike very easily. So you put this through your rear wheel and your frame, and then use that other cheap chain lock to protect your other wheel or your other components. That's what you should do. Okay, so this is on sale, 25% off. Highly recommend considering this one. The one that I use, I've talked about in my other video on my other channel, which is my biking channel. I'll link down below in my description as well, is that I use the ones from Hiplock. However, the Hiplock is not on sale this time. All the Avis stuff is on sale right now. Now's the time to get those locks. All right, protect your bike, protect your equipment. It's very expensive to get, very annoying to have to get. And on top of that, get some insurance on your expensive fancy bike. Okay, enough about that. Now, if you want to see what all the deals are, it doesn't have to be just Labor Day stuff. There's deals, sales, and clearance. I have a link up there. It's go.mikemoo.com/REI Deals, I believe. But the Labor Day one also takes you to the similar place as well. That's what's going on over here. Let's take a look at some of the up to 30% off deals. A lot of them were REI stuff. Looks like there's thousands of items, including camping and hiking, which I do a lot of. Let's see what the best-selling stuff is in the camping and hiking category. Just to take no surprise here, the Xped Mega Mat, 25% off. I think these prices have gone up since last year. Again, tariff-related. The Nemo Tensor All-Season Ultralight is also an extra 25% off. These are not outlet items, though, so you can't use an extra 20% off, but you at least get the 25% off already on there. I think these are the newer versions. When I got them on clearance before, these are ones that I use for ultralight. They were a little bit less expensive than this, but this was also like 2 years ago. I talked about this one already. Life-saving equipment. You're out there in the middle of nowhere. This is what you want. All right. Including, this will even give you helicopter rescue. Your life depends on it. The Garmin InReach Mini 2 is definitely one of the best ways to go about it. With subscription fee, of course. The Thule Motion 3 Roof Box XL is also on sale at 20% off, of course. But again, this price has gone up. So it's interesting to see what the most popular stuff is on here. You know what surprised me too is that, okay, so I'm not seeing it on here as being one of the best sellers, but I was looking into trying one of these because I don't have something this nice or fancy, and I normally don't use it, but I've seen it multiple times. It's a Fjällräven G1000 trouser set, and the Fjällräven stuff is, some of them are on sale, and it's 30% off. This is typically going to be cheaper than what you would find in Fjällräven stores unless you have an outlet near you. I think there's only a few of them. It's a pretty decent sale if you can get the size that you want. Now, obviously not all Fjällräven stuff is going to be on sale there, but men's pants were. And let's see if women's stuff is on here. Women's pants are probably as well. Men's and women's, yes. Right here, there's some there. And then let's take a look at this, the shirts and sweaters. A couple of them, maybe. Okay, just two left. The Ovik travel shirt and the 1960 logo badge sweater. Excellent quality stuff. Obviously, all the sizes of the cheaper stuff is sold out. I generally, when thinking about travel shirts, I've already found some pretty good travel shirts. If you haven't been to your local Costco recently, I see almost no reason for the average person to not just get their clothing over at Costco. I'm a big Costco fan. And it's just dirt cheap. Just some things are $5, $10. Really great deals regularly over at Costco. Try not to go on the weekends. It's absolute madhouse there on the weekends. But unless depends on your area. But yeah, totally worth it. There's basically two main memberships that I feel that are worth it is REI membership and also Costco membership. Those are the two main ones that I would say most people should get or consider getting, especially if they have one nearby, or in this case with REI, they can ship stuff out to you and you can make a casual trip out to REI if you had to in order to pick up certain oversized things. Okay. So those are some of the things that I was looking into to getting today because I already own a lot of REI gear. This one I thought to try too, since there's a lot of bike tools that are also on sale. Blackburn has a full-on sale on all their stuff or most of their stuff. And I thought that this was a pretty nice little multi-tool setup that is easy to pack and carry. Put it in the back of... They show putting it in your pocket, but obviously I'm just probably most likely going to be putting this in the back of my rare bike bag. But what I thought was really cool is that it also has a disc pad spreader. Anybody who's ever had to change tires while you're out on the road, if someone inadvertently squeezes your hydraulic disc brake lever by mistake, I've done that before, then you need to spread the disc pads. And this has that tool built in. It's right here. It doesn't look like much, but these are very useful when you're out and you really need to change your tires and just by mistake you squeeze that, and now that automatically adds another 10-15 minutes to your change time. Okay, so those are some two things that I'm thinking about getting here. There are also a bunch of other tools that were on there as well. Let's take a look at this. So this is how you navigate it. You go to the deals section, click on our deals, and break it down to what it is what category you are looking at. A lot of bike parts around there. I don't know if I can recommend a lot of them because I haven't tried most of them, but 25% off a good part of FSA bike components. That's not a bad time to get. Now, again, these prices are also higher than last time that there was a sale on them, and that's tariff related and tariff and supply related, I believe. So that's just where we're at right now. Let's see. Bike lights, should always get that. Bike tools and maintenance, 122 different items were on sale here as well. And some of them are in the outlet section, so you get the additional 20% off. I really like the Feedback Sports Range Click Torque Wrench set. I got that at Resupply. Hardly used. And that's also another benefit of a membership is that you can buy stuff from the Resupply, which is used gear or return gear that other REI members have sold to REI for credit or returned, or it could be individuals who are trading in your used gear for credit to purchase new gear. So these are some other areas that might make sense for you as well. Okay, I've had enough about talking about this. So this is pretty much the end of part 2. If there is a reason for part 3, I'll let you know. But I think the part 2 is enough. Covered some areas that I was interested in getting. Oh, one more thing here. Let's see, outlet. This is an interesting item, which I was surprised at. Okay, it just came up. It came recommended. And I already talked about the Helinox side tables. I talked about how I like Helinox stuff. And I also talked about how Helinox stuff makes camping easier and lighter. Thought about this, the Helinox Outdoor Field Office. This is not for everyone. I got one. It got shipped over. It's a lot smaller than what it looks like. Yeah, there's no reviews on here, but I had to look it up and find out that this is actually really short. So it is really more of a, how should we say, like a coffee table. Now, they talked about this, about working remotely from your campsite. Yeah, but only if you are on a really low camping seat. Does this make sense? But I'm going to try it out for use when I'm on site doing tech stuff, because I don't need a big long table. I need something light. I need to be able to put some tools in there. I'll still carry a backpack, but having a little table surface sometimes is useful, like on the go. Just letting you know I'm trying this out. I have tried the side table S. It's actually surprisingly useful. Hold 4 pounds. Gives you a quick little table. You set up just about anywhere. It weighs like nothing. I haven't tried the M yet, but I also have the M. I have tried the Big Agnes Goose Nest double-decker inflatable cot. This is actually surprisingly really good. You can use it for 2 people. And the price is high, but Big Agnes stuff is really good. The thing with this is that it can attach from one to the top, uses Velcro, and it has Velcro protective things on here. It packs really small, like really small, because it's inflatable. But you're also going to want to put a sleeping pad on it in case you are sleeping in a really cold environment, because it doesn't give you much R value at all. It just gives you the comfort, and also evens out, obviously, rough surfaces. And you can set them up side by side, which is what I did with my wife on a recent camping trip over in Big Sur. And that proved to be very comfortable for us. At least yeah, it did. It came out to be very comfortable for us. Unfortunately, the last time I talked about this, or the last time when I got this, was on a previous sale, and that one ended up being even cheaper than this one. I think that's just the way things are going to be, particularly with the tariffs and the increases. I think it's tariff related, but I'm not sure. I can just only tell you that even with 20% off, I got a cheaper deal last time around, which is a couple of months ago. So just thought I'd share that little bit with you, that a lot of times, sometimes these things are not the best deals. Oh, I want to give one more example. And there was this Marmot tent. I think it's Marmot. Yeah, here. The Marmot Limestone Lanai Shelter. Highly rated, but there's only 3 reviews, is $278.73. Now, I come to find the Sports Basement, which also has a sale. Sports Basement over here in the San Francisco Bay Area. I saw this in person, and it's actually way cheaper over there. So, Limestone Lanai Shelter, $278.73 here. But for whatever reason, they are really clearing them out over at Sports Basement. So it's only $141.57. That's 67% off. Plus we save an extra 10%. Doesn't make it 77% off. It just makes it makes it maybe 70%, 71% off. But that's a steal of a deal compared to the price that REI has it at. And also, the thing with REI is I don't think they do price matching. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't. So that's something to consider as well. When you're shopping around from here, find out whether or not this truly is the best deal for you, and see what else is available out there. I have links to some other camping sites or camping websites where you can also order stuff. Also in my links, hopefully, if I remember to do that. And you should also compare the prices and availability over there. But keep in mind, a lot of those places do not have the same satisfaction guarantee as REI does. So that's also something to consider. And also, REI gives you 10% cash back, where you get an annual dividend for full-priced items anyhow. And even some sale-price items I've seen. So something to keep in mind there. All right. Now I'm truly done. Please give us a like, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you in the next video. Happy camping. Get out there. Enjoy life. Thanks for watching.